I guarantee you, I mean, because I've been doing this for such a long period of time, I guarantee you, if you don't read it, you're not going to learn it. Monkey see, monkey do type of business, which means whatever somebody shows you, you're going to take it for granted, and that's how you're going to do it. And it's not going to be the right way. Okay? And sometimes in this kind of industry, if you do make a mistake, the payback is very difficult. All right? Just from my point of view. All right. Any other questions we don't have? Let's get started. I had a request to give you a break every hour, a few minutes. We'll see how that goes, and we'll get with that. Have you learned anything so far? So if I could talk to you with something, what is about a solar window, or solar days, or solar time, or irradiance, or radiation, you'd be able to tell me if I give you a test? Yes? No? Or you're going to have to call your wife. Just remember, unfortunately in life, is just, sometimes we put some philosophy in life. At some point in time, you can bullshit one person, the other one. But somewhere along the line, you're going to find yourself in a situation that you have to prove that you know something. And that's when it counts. So you can work your way around it, but at some point, you're going to have to prove that you know something. Okay. After this class, I'll be able to buy myself a new computer, so this way. Just bear with me for a second. There you are. Okay. Sorry about that.
Start from slideshow.
Yeah, that's what I did before. Okay.
Pull that corner out.
All right, here we are again. Okay. We'll talk a little bit about chapter 3 on the textbook. Deals mostly about initial site survey. You're going to get a requirement to go do a solar job. So I guess the first thing you need to do is make sure what? You get a phone call, you visit the place, see what happens if you have the appropriate area, the condition of the home, to be able to put a solar system on it. Because the customer just might call you out of nowhere. Then you have to do some sort of a planning, or pre-planning, what we call it, because you haven't really sat down to do any type of very specific type of planning. So you're going to go there like an initial inspection, and you need to do something to be able to start the effort into actually whether the place is useful for putting solar systems. So we'll talk about a little bit of that. Talk a little bit about some electrical requirement concept we have, and we'll talk about some of the system components associated to that for the solar thing. Okay. So some of the couple things is we got to go the objectives would be what? Identify what the customer wants, okay? So you're gonna visit the site and find out what the customer really wants. You're gonna make some sort of what? List of equipment that you need to conduct a site survey. You're gonna go up there and you're gonna do what? Look at the sun or something? So you need instrumentation. You're going to look at the area to say what are some of the factors that you have to consider when you're doing a site survey. Make sure that you can see the sun and make sure that you can take some sun measurements to be able to determine whether or not you have enough solar radiation from that. So, and then you're going to start seeing to identify some of the angles. Okay, you're going to look at some effects of shading that they have. How you're going to actually take some preliminary data so you can find out whether that area up there is really a good candidate for a solar system. What happens to determine whether the area that you're going to install what solar system is accessible for maintenance. How are you going to evaluate some of the roofs? You look at a roof up there. Was this new? Old? Can you put solar on the top? So some of the things that you have to figure out, and then you have to do actually some of the evaluation of where you're going to stick your electrical pieces of equipment that you require. You go to somebody's house, which is aesthetically nice, and now he wants to put solar panels up there. Obviously, you need to install the panels, and you need to install what? The rest of the components, inverters, combiner boxes. So you want to make sure that the house looks aesthetically nice, the same way it looks now. So when you leave at the job, the person's satisfied. Okay. So those are the things that you do when you do your initial survey, and you have to figure all those things out before you do anything. Then you have to do some sort of what? Preliminary audit to see what type of size of a system you need to install. You find out whether there are other opportunities, like utilizing more energy efficient type of equipment, okay, to conserve energy and at the same time allow you to install the size of a system that you really want. And you have to figure out how you're going to go about in preparing a proposal to give to the customer, okay? And then after you do that, you're going to go to your office and you're going to list all the requirements in order to be able to do what? Submit a final proposal to the customer to actually say, here's what I'm going to do, here's what you need, here's what you can put in your system, and here's how much it's going to cost. If you don't do that, it's going to be a trial and error. And what happens when you do things trial and error? It's going to cost you money, and first of all, you won't be able to answer all the requirements that the customer has. Unless you really can answer the customer's requirements or needs, as we say, and provide to him a nice, clear, understanding type of a proposal, the job is not solved. Or if you do sell the job, you really don't know whether or not you did a good job or not. Now, this is the right way of doing it. Of course, there are some areas that you have some sort of a cut-throughs or something, that you skip and so forth. It's always done that in the practical because of experience and so forth. Sometimes we end up doing one system, then you see a house that's really similar to the other one, and says, okay, this guy's going to put a solar system like I did X, Y, Z, and this is what's going to cost. You give them a rough order of estimate, rough order of cost, and rough order of an energy audit. It's acceptable? The answer is yes. It's the right thing? The answer is no. Okay? And you're going to see that a lot of the people that win jobs like this, they do it because they present what? A well-understood, clear proposal. I visit some of my customers, some of the guys that actually, I had them as students and they do their job. And the first thing that the person tells me is, he gets a phone call, he personally goes to the job, he climbs the ladder, he measures the roof, he does all the preliminary pre-planning, he does a little sketch before he sends out the job for a proposal. He physically does that. Because he says, a couple of times, especially in the first few jobs, he said that we didn't put the effort behind it and we lost money on the job. So even though it looks like a boring thing to do, it looks like a tedious thing to do, perhaps